All right, I've already talked about how the Old Testament is showing symbolically the old man, and the New Testament is the new man. The Old Testament is showing the physical, and the new man is showing the spiritual. And also God declaring the end from the beginning, right? So what I'm going to show is a pattern of that. So we know that they said on earth as it is in heaven. And in Hebrews chapter 8, verses 1 through 5, says that things down here are a shadow of things in heaven. So it's like types and shadows, right? So when we look at the book of Joshua chapter 6, we see something incredible. And notice it's in chapter 6, which is parallel with Revelation chapter 6 in the New Testament. We see the heavenly in the New Testament and a shadow of that in the Old Testament. And that's really what God is showing us in the Bible. And what we have in the Old Testament, Joshua chapter 6, is, like I said before, there are 7 priests with 7 trumpets. Just like the New Testament Revelation, there are 7 angels with 7 trumpets. Heaven, okay? So we have heaven and earth paralleling here. And these 7 angels, there are 7 days accounted for when they were taking over the city of Jericho. And on the first day, they made a circle around it, symbolic of 360 degrees, or 360 days for a Hebrew year. And they blew the trumpets. Okay? Second day, the same thing. Third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day. Each of these days, the 6 days, they made a circle around it, blew a trumpet. Then on the 7th day, they made 7 circles around it and blew the trumpet. And this is a clear parallel pattern, a shadow of the New Testament in the book of Revelation. And what is in there? Well, we see exactly this. We see 14 things here. We see 7 days, and then on the 7th day, we see them walk around it 7 times and blow the trumpets. So what we see in Revelation, which is parallel to this, we see 7 seals, and then we see 7 trumpets. It's a shadow. Heaven and earth, old and new, right? And that's what that is. And so breaking it down even more, what we can deduct from this is that on the 7th day, they made seven circles and blew the trumpets for those circles. So we have 7 and 7. 7th day, walking around it 7 times and blowing the trumpets. So we have to be fruitful and multiply to see a mystery. 7 times 7, that's 49. When they blew all of the 7 trumpets, the end, right? Well, what's 20 plus 29? Isn't it 49? 20, 29? What else is there? Well, we have 49, right? 7 times 7. Well, how many weeks were determined upon Israel? 490 weeks, which turned into 490 weeks of years. So we have 49 out of 0. It's a shadow. It's all a parallel shadow. Also, in a jubilee, which is 50 years, there are 7 years times 7 years. So you have 49, and then there's a year added. So that actually shows the 50, not the 49, which is 2029, but the 50th year, the jubilee, at 2030. What a perfect fit. That's what it is. And this is just one example of probably many in there. I just want to show you this real quick because these things, I haven't heard them. Haven't heard it before. I don't know. Just people haven't seen it, I guess. But it's always been there. One key thing that people need to remember is that God's wrath does not start on the first seal. The day of the Lord does not start on the first seal. And this is one of the great lies that Christianity has pawned off on people. And, you know, once you see that, it's easy. It makes sense because, you know, like on the 5th seal, you're reading on the 5th seal and people are being martyred. And there are people in heaven at the throne of God asking God, you know, how much more longer, Lord, right? And he's like, just a little while longer until, paraphrasing, until the cycle finishes, until what needs to get done gets done. It's not God killing the saints. It's not God martyring his own people on earth. It's man. That's the reason why you see the seals start opening up in chapter 6. Because 6 is the number of man. You see that? 6, all the things that we've been posting about for years. The weather technology that they have. All of the artificial intelligence, all that. That's what is going to be and is right now doing that in the seals. We're in the seals. I don't doubt that at all. But that is man's destruction. Just like I said in my last video. Ordo ab chaos. Order out of chaos. They're doing all this. And then they're going to claim peace and safety. Just like 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Okay, if it was God's wrath that was going to create this chaos that's coming, they would not be able to create peace and safety and say peace and safety and actually create a false peace and safety, which is going to include the mark of the beast and stuff like this. But they would not be able to do that if God's wrath was already coming down. Because once God's wrath starts, then we know that starts after they declare peace and safety in 1 Thessalonians. But once it starts, it's not going to stop until it comes back. And it's done after they say peace and safety. Are they about to say peace and safety? They're about to make people start wearing masks again next month. They're not saying peace and safety. Everything that we're seeing is they're predicting and showing chaos is coming. You have to remember that. That's a key. When they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction will come upon them. That's the day of the Lord that comes upon them. That comes after. Okay, there's no peace and safety declared right now at all. So, again, these are things to show you. Like the 5th seal, just look at it. God's wrath is not coming down. The day of the Lord is not happening in the 5th seal because everybody's like, please, Lord, when? And then the 6th seal happens. And then Jesus Christ shows up in the heavens. And then you get the 7th seal, which is the trumpet judgments. That's when it comes down. So it can't be. None of that is God's wrath or the day of the Lord. It doesn't start until even after the 7th seal is opened. And then there's another earthquake. And then there's a trumpet blast. And you see, and there's a long time in between these things. So, that's one main thing that you have to realize is that the first 6 seals are not God's wrath. It's man doing it with all these things that we've been posting. With all the technology and everything. And it's their plan. They're going to cause chaos so that they can bring in their order or new world order. And they're going to say peace and safety. Hence, the rapture happens after they say peace and safety, or right around the time that they say peace and safety. You see? That is 2025. I firmly believe that. Firmly believe that. So, Passover Rapture 2025.